right, welcome to the team. I want you to think of this as your first professional assignment. We're going to build your very first web page, and we're going to do it right from the ground up. Let's dive in. So our goal today is really tangible. This isn't just about memorizing some random syntax. We're actually building a real-world asset. And by the end of this, you're going to have the skills you need to start your own professional portfolio. You know, to really grasp this stuff, we have to think like architects. And I love this analogy. If a website is a house, then HTML is its structural frame. It's the foundation, it's the walls, the roof. It provides the whole shape and defines where everything's supposed to go. This slide just lays it all out perfectly. HTML, that's the core structure, the frame of the house. Then you've got CSS, that's all the interior design, the paint colors, the furniture, everything that gives it style. And finally, JavaScript? Well, that's the electricity and the plumbing that makes the house actually functional. They're a team, but HTML is always the starting point.
Okay, so before any architect starts building, what do? They study the blueprint. For us, that means we need to understand the fundamental rules and structure of an HTML document. So let's take a look at the schematics.
I want you to burn this slide into your memory. Seriously. Because every single HTML page you ever build has to have this core skeleton. It kicks off with DocuType, which just tells the browser, hey, this is an HTML5 document. Then the HTML tag wraps the entire page. And inside that, you have two key sections. The head, which is for all the behind-the-scenes info, like the page title, and the body, which holds all the content your users will actually see. You know, everything in HTML really just comes down to these two building blocks, tags and attributes. The difference is simple, but it is absolutely crucial. Tags, like P for a paragraph, define the type of thing you're making. They are the container. Attributes, on the other hand, live inside that opening tag, and they provide extra details about that element, like giving it a unique ID or a style. Before we start building, let's lock in some professional habits right now. First, always, and I mean always, use lowercase for your tags. It's the industry standard for a reason. Second, get how whitespace works. If you hit spacebar 10 times, the browser collapses it down to 1. Use your editor to make things look clean. And most importantly, use comments. They're totally invisible to the user, but they're invaluable for explaining your code to your team. And trust me, to your future self. All right, we've got the blueprint. Now let's start framing the house. And in modern web development, we don't just use generic blocks. We use what are called semantic blocks, tags that actually describe their own purpose. This is a total game changer. Just look at this comparison. On the left, you've got a structure made of generic div tags. Yeah, it works, but it's meaningless. You have no idea what each section is for without reading the content. But on the right, we're using semantic tags like header, nav, main, and footer. The code literally explains itself. It's instantly readable. So why is this so important? Well, it matters for 3 critical reasons. First, accessibility. Screen readers can properly navigate a semantic layout for visually impaired users. It makes a huge difference. Second, SEO. Search engines like Google can better understand your content, which helps you rank higher. And third, and this is a big one for us as developers, it makes your code 1,000 times easier for you and your team to read and maintain. Now, when you need to style and target specific elements, you're going to use ID and class. And the rule is super simple. An ID is a unique key. You can only use it for one element on the entire page. A class, though, is reusable. You can apply it to a whole group of elements that need to share the same style, like a set of buttons. Okay, our frame is up, the structure is solid, it's semantic. Now, it's time to furnish the rooms. Let's add the actual content. These are your bread and butter tags for text. Headings from H1 down to H6 create a really clear hierarchy. P is, of course, for paragraphs. And this is a key point. Strong and emphasis don't just make text bold or italic, they add semantic meaning. They tell the browser this text is important or has emphasis, which is a really big deal for both accessibility and SEO. Whenever you have a group of related items, you should be using lists. An unordered list, or UL, is for your classic bullet points. An ordered list, OL, is for numbered steps like instructions. And a definition list, DL, is perfect for things like glossaries. You can even nest lists inside each other to create outlines and more complex structures. It's super powerful. So, the house is framed and furnished, it looks great, but it doesn't do anything yet. It's just a static model. So it's time to install the utilities, the electricity and plumbing, to make our page interactive.
Forms are how you're going to get information from your users. The process is pretty simple. Everything starts inside a form tag. Now listen, for every single input field you create, you must use a corresponding label. This is totally non-negotiable for accessibility. Finally, you add the input field itself. You can even create a file upload button just by setting the inputs type to File. It's that easy. And this is where JavaScript, our electricity, comes back into play. We can use it for something called client-side validation. What that means is we can check for errors, like if someone types in an invalid email address, before they even submit the form. It gives them instant feedback and makes for a way better user experience. The code is written. The structure is semantic. All the content is in place. There's only one thing left to do. It's time to open the doors and launch your page. And launching your first page is this simple. Seriously, you don't need servers or any fancy tools yet. Just write your code in any plain text editor, save that file with an .html extension, and then literally just drag that file right into your web browser. And boom, that's it. Your page is live right there on your own machine. So, you have the blueprint and you've got the tools. You've officially completed your first assignment. Now your real challenge is to apply what you've learned. I want you to build a simple, one-page personal profile using a semantic header, main, and footer. This is the first real piece of your professional portfolio. Good luck.